Hello everyone! How have you been? Today, we are going to learn about how we can save our planet. What do we have on the table? A shirt, a plastic bottle, and a glass bottle. How are these objects related? Well, let's check what the t-shirt is made up of. It is made up of polyester. Do you know what polyester means? It means it comes from plastic, and it can be made up of plastic bottles, like this one here. Do you know how this is done? Through recycling. Recycling means to turn something old and useless, like old plastic bottles, to something new, like this shirt here. Why do we recycle? We recycle to save the environment. There are other ways to help the environment, like, for example, here. Once we're done drinking from this bottle, we do not throw it away. We wash it and refill it and use it again. Or we can use glass bottles instead, like this one here. This way, we use less plastic bottles. This is called reduce. To help the environment, we can also try to reuse, especially single-use plastic, which means plastic stuff that we use one time and throw it away carelessly, like the ones we see in the image. We can be very creative when we reuse plastic. Here, we have made a vase out of a single-use bottle. Well, to learn more about recycling, follow us in the episode. Welcome back. Earlier, we read 3 important words: recycle, reduce, and reuse. Let's find out how these words are used in our story and what our friends do to protect the environment.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. Shook from last week's news report about water pollution, Mr. Haroon decided that the school should act, for he believed that education was more than just lessons from a book. So when he arrived at school on Monday, he invited all the students and staff to an assembly.
Good morning, wonderful students,
He said.
How many of you watched the news report about water pollution last week?
Many students raised their hands.
Who can tell me what the problem was?
He asked.
Plastic is harming animals and people.
One student answered.
Correct.
Mr. Haroon said.
And what should we do about it?
Many students raised their hands.
We should not litter the sea.
One student said.
We should reduce the use of plastic.
Said another.
Or we should recycle.
Said a third.
You are all right.
Said the principal.
What else can we do? We should go to the beach and we should clean it up.
Said Osama.
That's a great idea.
Replied the principal.
And guess what? Tomorrow you have neither tests nor homework. We are all going to volunteer to clean the beach. What do you think about that? Hooray!
The students cheered. The next day on the beach, firemen greeted the students. The firemen explained to them the importance of safety, so the students wore masks and protective gear. Then, the students were divided into groups of 3 because 2 were needed to carry the bags that could become very heavy, and 1 person was needed to pick the plastic from the beach. The students were free to choose to be either the bag carriers or the pickers. While the students were cleaning up, other buses stopped by, all carrying students from different schools. After many long hours, the students were finally able to clean part of the beach. The firefighters picked up the rest. All the students thanked the firefighters and went back home. They were all so tired that they swore they would never, ever use plastic again.
What an amazing thing the school did, right? Let's explore some of the sentences of our story. The firefighters picked up the rest. When you read this sentence, how do you feel about it? Was it difficult or simple? This sentence is very clear and very simple. Do you know why? Because it only has one subject and one verb. Who? The firefighters. What did they do? They picked up. Is the sentence clear? Yes. Is it simple? Yes. Why? Because it has one subject and one verb. Let's look at these sentences. Let's read them and find the subjects and the verbs. Mr. Harun, our subject, decided, our verb, that the school should act, for he, another subject, believed that, another verb, education was more than just lessons from a book. Let's read the second sentence. The fireman, our subject, explained, our verb, to them the importance of safety. So the students, here's another subject, wore, another verb, masks and protective gear. So how many subjects and verbs do we have in each of these sentences? 2. Why is that? It's because each sentence in reality is made up of 2 simple sentences. For example, let's take the first sentence. This sentence is made up of 2 parts. Mr. Harun decided that the school should act. He believed that education was more than just lessons from a book. Do each of these sentences have a complete meaning on their own? Yes. How have we combined them? We have combined them by adding for and a comma. The first part of this sentence is a simple statement. The second part of this sentence shows why Mr. Harun decided that the school should act. Why? Because he believed that education was more than just lessons from a book. So it shows his reasons. This means that the word for is kind of like the word because. It's the same with the other sentence. Let's look at this sentence. This sentence can be divided to 2 sentences as well. The fireman explained to them the importance of safety. The students wore masks and protective gear. In the first sentence, we can see that the firemen did something. What did they do? They explained the importance of safety. As a result, because the firemen explained the importance of safety, in the second sentence, they did something. What did they do? The students wore masks and protective gear. So shows the result. See how for and so join sentences together? Did you pay attention to the commas? Yes? Good. Since these sentences are made up of 2 simple sentences joined with for and so, we call them compound sentences. Well, folks, that's all for today. Remember our keywords: reduce, recycle, reuse. It is our responsibility to take care of the environment, and we should teach this to others as well. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Until I see you next time, be good, take care of yourselves and the environment. Bye.
لمشاهدة المزيد من الحلقات زوروا سات7 بلس.